What up, bombers? It is Maud Garrett, Boss Bomb of Geek Bomb here, doing my Q&A now from you guys to answer in my public YouTube video, and life got in the way. A plane, can you hear that? I have an incredibly busy work life, so juggling all that is beyond fun, but I do have a day off. So here I go. Like I said, these questions are from Patreon, so if you wanna get involved in Q&As or in the Smodcast questions, anything that we require questions, the best way to do that and get involved is to become a backer, a BB for Patreon. And the minimum I think you can donate is $2 a month, which is what, 50 cents a week to get involved and get your questions prioritized for these things. Hey, speaking of Patreon real quick, oh, my $50 and $80 tiers, ones that like mail and fun stuff, where'd you go? You're getting packages soon. I'm sending you some stuff. We got the mod, the Watt range that I modeled for. We got this photo shoot that I did with Cam. I'm gonna be signing these and sending them off, ooh la la. So if you do wanna get personalized postcards and signed memorabilia and Polaroids from me, and you love receiving mail, then just yeah, Patreon's where you need to go for that one. And also the April digital pack has been released for $20 and higher, plus the behind the scenes Instagram. You have been getting inundated with not only the new look of all the Watt range and that photo shoot that I've been doing, but a bunch of stuff from the Scotties as well. So oh my gosh, we do a lot of stuff for Patreon, but guys, we couldn't do this without you, so that's a huge thanks. Let's get stuck into this. Question one. Now, we've got the Nathan swap hour because Nathan's asked a bunch of questions, so I'm gonna get through them. Are we ready? Cool. Hi, Nathan. The dog, he's still there. What was it like when your social media started picking up strangers and fans instead of only friends and family, and how has that affected how you use social media? I mean, I actually started my television career before Facebook became big. Damn. So I was actually introduced during the MySpace days and when forums were really big. And that in itself, like, so I've always had sort of like fans being able to comment about me, which is the worst part of the job without fail. Because a lot of the times the really nice things you're like, oh cool, and then it's just dismissed. And then the negative things, they kind of just stick a little bit harder. My big thing that I'll do is just remind people that they don't actually know me as a person, even though it feels like we're super buddy buddies. So when people do sort of post anything that's a little bit smutty or suggestive, or they objectify me or sexualize me in a way that's definitely never been invited, I will just remind them, being like, do you think this is appropriate to talk to a stranger about? And then they're like, oh, I thought you could take a joke. And I'm like, that's why I have a mute button. Honestly, it's really not hard to not be a too many double negatives. Don't be a and then everyone will get along just fine. But it's really weird. Like, I don't really share things with my immediate family using social media anymore. I have a bit of a message chain with my brother and my mum and my brother and his wife, so I can get my baby pic fix, because I've got a nephew now and it's my, oh, I love it. But yeah, no, when I kind of talk about things, it's as if I'm talking to people that are interested in what I want to say, which is why you follow someone, right? So there you go. Second question. After finishing Harry Potter again recently, who do you think could have used a better actor in the movies? Oh, I remember when I first saw the films, I was really disappointed with the Weasley twins, because in the books they're shorter and stockier and really good looking, and they went for someone who's quite lanky, but they happen to be twins in real life, so I get that. And they're actually really decent guys. It's funny because they started when they were 11 years old, not even, like earlier than that. So I don't really think it's fair to say that they weren't great actors because they are kids, but you do see them grow through the films. Like, I always thought that Daniel Radcliffe was a little bit cardboard, but then again, after reading Harry Potter again, Harry Potter's a little bit cardboard from time to time too. He doesn't really show emotions, which is probably a good thing, because if he did, he would be an absolute wreck, because that guy's gone through stuff. He also asked, what's a movie nearly universally thought of as bad and forgettable that you love / defend? Oh, Zelda just picked up a toy. Wow, what's this? What's this, Bubba? You want to play? This is what it's like being a single mum with a daughter. You want to play with the toy? Go. A movie that I'm always going to shove down people's throats is Willow, and I think it's kind of weird now because it's like, well, what's Willow about? Oh, well, it's the brainchild of George Lucas and it's directed by Ron Howard, and they're like, yeah, what about it? And it's like, well, there's this baby that's been prophesized to bring down the evil sorceress, and it basically this little man finds the baby and it's up to him to bring it back, and then he runs into Val Kilmer, who's like a warrior kind of dude who likes to drink or he likes to kill people and all that kind of stuff, and then there's monsters and trolls and damn, I've lost you, haven't I? So if you don't really like fantasy, I don't know if this movie's for you, but I think it's one of the best movies ever made. And the chemistry between Val Kilmer and the woman who plays Saoirse in it was so palpable. And then yeah, they got married. So you can't fake that stuff. Last one, I promise, he says. You're given the single wish to make Zelda large enough to ride like a horse or keep her current size, but Zelda is a little mad and she won't be big, so she's extra sassy to you. This dog is so sassy to me already, I don't know if I could take a little bit more. But you're kind of saying this question as if I would be deterred from having a giant dog. Zelda, have you seen Thor Ragnarok with Hela and her wolf? That's what I would be like with Zelda. I want that bad. I would move house and get a giant yard just so I could have a giant Zelda running around. Did you hear that, baby girl? She's not happy that she's being ignored right now. The sass is strong with her. We've got one from Nick Perry. Favorite color? Purple. Believe it or not. I know, pink everywhere. Purple's my favorite color. Favorite place you visited? Barcelona. Do you like anime? I actually have slipped off. I watched it a lot as a kid. And then as an adult, I kind of just, I don't know, there's a lot to get through as a geek and an adult. But last year I kind of put the word out and I was like, what should I watch? What am I missing? And I got through a couple of them. I actually really struggled because a lot of the time I'll be watching a show and playing a game or working on something and having a computer open. So anything that requires subtitles, it's like I look down for 3 seconds, I look back up, I'm lost. So I actually need to focus with anime. If so, what's your favorite? Let's just say that Cell Saga for Dragon Ball Z is the best out of all the Dragon Ball Zs. Mind you, I didn't mind the fighting tournament leading into the Boo Saga, but Cell Saga 110%, thank you! Dragon Ball Z. Overall, what is your favorite convention to go to? San Diego Comic-Con, hands down. That is the best. I've worked there every single year since I moved to LA, so I have a really special and soft spot for that one. And I feel like every year it brings something so different, and I love it. Danny Boy says, hey there boss, but I'm just curious, what's your views on etiquette if any of us see you on the street and want to say hi? I saw you last year in Austin, but I chickened out. I know that some people can be standoffish and I totally get it, thanks. If you see me in the street and I'm not on camera rolling, absolutely fine to come up and be like, hi Maud, I'm so sorry, I'm a fan. Chances are I probably know your handle if we've communicated a lot online, and I'll be the one to prompt a photo, so don't ever get scared about that. I'm absolutely fine with it. In fact, I remember one time in Australia, I was on a date and the waiter was a SourceFed fan and he's like, oh my god Maud, I'm a big fan. And I was just like, thank you, you've made me look so good. So yeah, no, it actually kind of makes my day. It's like, oh my god, wow, I can get recognized on the street. That's kind of cool. But yeah, so there you go. There's your answer. You should have said hi. I'll say hi to you now. Hi, Danny. We didn't get a picture though. Efrain Pazantes says, let's say you're an A-list celebrity doing a couple of days press junkets and you're interviewed by Amy and Alicia back to back. How do you react? Will you give them extra time for an interview? That's awesome that this is like something that we can even dream of in a scenario. I would absolutely give them extra time if I had that power. The days are heavily structured. You really only have sort of like 3.5, 4 minutes with the talent, so there's a minute turnaround so they can just bang out as many as they can. But obviously, yeah, if I know them, I'll just be like, psh, psh, that's what I'll do. Psh. It'd be weird having Alicia interview me though, because like we talk every day. So yeah. Andreas Alschut has said, since you travel so much, what's your most embarrassing airport story either you were a part of or witnessed as a bystander? And what's your most outrageous moment traveling? I believe it was coming back from Fantastic Fest with the SourceFed Nerd team. This didn't happen to me. I will never forget it. I've told the story a lot though. And it's not funny, but it's funny. I'm just glad it wasn't me. So Darren was basically sitting next to this woman who had severe motion sickness on the plane and was violently throwing up. But I think she said something like, I just threw up so much I shat myself. Something like that. And he's just like, oh my god, trying not to throw up as well from it all, because, you know, that can be quite, you can have a lot of empathy with that. You know, the sympathetic spewers. Oh, it's never good. I've seen that in action as well. Efrain Pazantes also asked, are you pro-Republic, pro-Empire, or pro-New Order? My goodness, I'm definitely not pro-Empire. That is absolutely a totalitarian system where you are being told what to do. There's no sense of democracy, so that's a hard no from me. Pro-Republic, yes, because I really do believe they're fighting for the people, but a lot of the time, because they're so small, you really have to risk and save, put your life forward to make a change. That's full on to really think about. Pro-New Order, I mean, it's exactly the same as the Empire, really, isn't it? It's just another strict regime that doesn't seem very fun. Can I be pro-Old Republic? Oh, Nathan said, I lied. One more came to mind while listening to the Half Hour Happy Hour podcast. I do that one. If you guys should subscribe on the podcast, look up Half Hour Happy Hour Ladies Night, and I do that one with Alison Haislip. It's awesome. With all the American media exported to Australia, did American culture feel like an extension of Australia, but with regional differences like Perth versus Sydney, different similarities? Or is there simply too many micro differences in American versus Australian culture that America felt and still feels totally foreign? No, we grew up on a lot of pop culture and a lot of television shows and movies that are American, so I kind of learned what a frat party looked like through watching teen movies, you know? But when I first arrived here, I went to a party, like the second night I arrived, and they had the red Solo cups, and I was like, oh my God, this is cool. It is funny to discover more and more what is so normal to me that just doesn't make it in America. Like just the other day, I discovered that Americans don't say the word sultana. There's no sultana. It's just a sunny, sunny currant. No, what do you use? It's a sunny raisin. Sunny raisin. No, it's a sultana. There are 3 different types of grapes, which means there's 3 different types of dried grape. You got the sultana from the green grape, you got the currant from the purple grape, and then you got the raisin from the purple grape, and the currant from the black grape. The more you know. Sultanas, everyone. Ollie Mawson says, what talent would you really love to be able to do, but you've just never had the time to learn? I reckon you'd make the world-class dog whisperer. That would be awesome. I want to learn more languages. I travel so much that I just feel so inept not being able to communicate. Like, you know, I'll get through the merci beaucoup in France, and then it's like, nah, that's all I got. I can just say, thank you very much, thank you very much, thank you. Come on, I want to be able to really communicate and articulate. I traveled to Japan with Mari from Smosh and Dan from the Dan Cave from Nerdist and Dan Casey. And they, obviously, Mari speaks fluent Japanese, being Japanese, but Dan spoke fluent Japanese as well. And then there's me, and they're all chatting and talking and conversing with everyone, and I'm like, hajimemashite. I just wish I was able to learn more languages. That would be cool. That would be a great superpower if you could just understand everything. Ollie Mawson, what's the dating scene like in LA? Any funny stories? I imagine it's quite bad with a lot of superficial people who don't have a clue what it takes to make a relationship work. They put careers ahead of love, and I also imagine there's a lot of narcissistic personalities. Hammer me nailed. Ding! Yeah, big time. People move here to pursue a career, so the career is always going to be prioritized. I noticed that there's a lot of Peter Pan syndrome with men here, where it's like, oh my gosh, dazed and confused. I get older and they stay the same age.
All right, all right, all right.
So that's a little disheartening. Yeah, I find dating in Australia 10 times easier and better for the soul than America. Americans straight off the gate will be like, you're pretty, I like you, I want to take you out. And it's like, you don't even know my name. So immediately there's a romantic kind of connotation there. Whereas in Australia, you'll be friends with someone, you'll be hanging out, you know, you might flirt a little bit, but it's like you're just kind of really getting to know who they are as a person without having to kind of put your best foot forward because you know that there's interest there. And then it will eventuate from that. Maybe you'll get drunk and have a pash, or you'll kiss, and you'll realize there's chemistry there, and it just sort of organically will grow instead of it being forced together and you just gotta make it work. And I also noticed in Australia, we're much more likely to date one person at a time. But yeah, you nailed it. I wish I could say that's just a cliche. No, that's 100% true. He also asked, how do you find the food and alcohol culture in America compared to Australia? When I went to America on a holiday, it blew their minds how much I drank as an Englishman, and it blew my mind the ridiculous sized portions of food that they served. Again, you've nailed it. Americans would much rather eat a truckload of food and not drink at all. And I think, yeah, as Englishmen and Australians, we have much smaller portions. It's much cleaner food, but gosh, we put it back. I remember, yeah, I would hang out, and my thing is I'd like to, hey, can I get you a drink? I'm going to the bar, let me grab you a drink, you know, to kind of have a purpose. And someone would be like, oh, I'm not drinking. And I'm like, what, tonight? Are you driving? And they're like, oh no, I don't drink at all. And I'm like, at all? And I just, The notion of sobriety actually didn't really comprehend with me. It made me realize how ingrained alcohol is in Australia's culture. So anytime there's a reason to celebrate, drinks. You're finishing work on a Friday, drinks. It's just such a standard that to see that different attitude was, yeah, it was full on. But when I go back to Australia, the food is a lot better. In America, the preservatives are just out of this world. The milk lasts 5 times as long. Milk shouldn't last that long, but it does. But Ollie, you're on the money though, you really get it. Sebastian X asks, what are you most looking forward to right now? How do you book your hosting / interview gigs? How's the influencer life? Okay, you've got a lot of questions, so let's just start with those. What are you looking forward to most right now? I'm probably gonna go back to Australia for my nephew's first birthday. Oh yeah. How do you book your hosting / interview gigs? I get an email from my contact at the outlet that I work for saying, are you free to do it? And I say yay or nay, and then I do it. It's that easy. What tech do you use every single day? That's easy. Actually, and my Xbox pretty much. Speaking of tech, did you buy the faster USB car charger since CES? No, because at that stage I only had the iPhone 7, which doesn't do wireless charging. But now it does, so I should probably get it. What were the challenges starting your own clothing line? Having all the money up front first and seeing if anyone would like it. How do you manage your social media posting schedule? I'll do it when I want to do it. It's that easy. If it's inconvenient for me, then I won't do it. But usually it'll be like, epiphany, tweet. Or, I haven't put a photo up in 3 days. This'll do. I'm very blasé about the whole thing, honestly. What's your favorite horror movie? Haha, none. That's easy. How much Star Trek have you seen? Just the movies, not really the television show. I was never much of a Trekkie, but I liked the movies. What are you planning next? To take over the world. Efrain Pizzanti says, are you going to San Diego Comic-Con this year? If so, will you cosplay as anyone? Hoping to go to Comic-Con, haven't locked anything in yet. Eek! I didn't go to WonderCon this year. Will I cosplay? Probs not. I'm probably going to wear a lot of what clothes. I'd rather put out a new design and rock that. That's where I'm at the moment. William Stewart, you've done just about everything over your career. What is the next goal or job that you're trying or want to achieve? I want to break out of digital media in America. I did a lot of traditional media back in Australia, which is hosting a radio show and hosting television shows. I'd love to try and do that. I have no idea how to do it here. I don't know if being Australian is an advantage or a disadvantage, but I'd like to take that to the next step. That would be good. Mr. Pirate Dancer, if money wasn't a real problem, i.e. you have enough to spend comfortably but can't go overboard, what would be key features of your ideal LA Geek Bomb office? I like this question. Giant Geek Bomb statue in the entrance or a gaming room, slides, hover chairs, what would it look like? I would probably have a podcast room set up so that we could do podcast content. I would probably have a main stage set up with a green screen and another one that's actually a set. So 3 different kind of like shoot rooms for that. Oh my goodness. Would I do gaming stuff? Probably. I would have an editing suite for the editors to make all the content. There would be snacks. There would be a proper coffee machine that makes actual good coffee. So many of these offices that I've worked at, the coffee, no, I'm a snob. I need good coffee. And it would be a dog-friendly office so everyone could have their dogs in there. That seems achievable. I feel like I could do that. Come on Patreon. We could do that. More content instead of me being in my office. Skylar Van, I'm sorry we lost you by the way. You've been so supportive and so amazing. You're the best. What is your favorite house in Game of Thrones and who's your favorite character? I loved the Tyrells and Marjorie. Marjorie was so great because she was super manipulative, but she wasn't cruel. So she was clever and used kindness as a way to manipulate people. I really respected that after seeing Cersei and knowing and understanding that she leads with cruelness, selfishness, and just this sort of like emptiness. And then having Marjorie come in and just show her how much better and more successful you can be if you bring out the best in people. Even though she was still conniving and wanted to be queen, I think that her intentions were better. And that juxtaposition, especially knowing Maggie Frog's prophecy with Cersei, was really great to see unfold. Ask for Second said, if you could cosplay as any character, regardless of how intricate the costume, who would it be? I've always talked about wanting to do a Hela costume with the green bodysuit. I think, imagine that. that would be great. But I feel like successful costumes aren't ones that only lasted in one movie. They're ones that stood the test of time. So, I've noticed, especially since I did the White Walker cosplay at Comic-Con with Sam, I really like cosplay where I'm not recognized. I get into character far more and I try to scare people. So something like that. Maybe I could have a sexy She-Wookie or a Tusken Raider. That would be fun. Ask for Seconds also asks, who would be on your dream roster to play Dungeons and Flagons with? After going to the D&D event where I saw Joe Manganiello play, the dynamic that he had with the Big Show was so great that I think Joe Manganiello really gets it. I would love to play with him. I think he's fantastic. I've played with Sam Witwer, but I've only done Star Wars tabletop games. He just puts on a voice like this. Sometimes he just makes it up on the spot and it's brilliant every time. Playing with Trisha Hirschberger is godsend. She's so good. She just gets it. She is in character. She knows how to navigate through the story whilst being entertaining. She's fantastic. Playing with Amy Vorpahl when we did Sirens of the Realms was so good. She's hilarious. Her improv and just like running on with bits, like her and I would just have these incredible back and forths. I was like, good dog, well done. Woof woof, yes, I'm a good girl. If you haven't seen season 1 of Sirens of the Realms and you're into that, that was actually a lot of fun. And the last question was, uh-oh, tea or coffee? And depending on which, what kind is your favorite? Flat white coffee, thank you. I used to be a tea drinker big time. Coffee has changed my life for the better. I only need one a day, and I, on weekends, won't have it at all because I don't need to be awake because it's my weekend. So yeah, a really good coffee. I'm not talking coffee from a pot. I'm talking an espresso, made from an espresso machine with lots of milk. Mwah, 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 mwah. And Adam Toulos has said, yay, I got Toulos right for the first time. He said, who inspires you? If you couldn't be in the entertainment business, what career would you be in? Okay, we got a couple of questions again. Who inspires me? Cate Blanchett is fantastic. Cameron Diaz was one of my best interviews I've ever done. Women who just own their boss appeal, you know? They just get done. I love stuff like that. Cate Blanchett just seems so secure in herself and confident and just wonderful, but you know, uses her platform for encouragement and support, and I don't know, I think she's great, honestly. And she's Australian, and I really like seeing Australians succeed because we're just we're a big country with little people. We're not little people, we're a big country with less people. There it is. If you couldn't be in the entertainment business, what career would you be in? My mum's a psychologist. I actually really think it's fascinating to understand people's behavior. But I mean, like, oh my God, how draining your job is to get people to put all their problems onto you. I don't know how you therapists do it. That's me not answering your question, apparently. What is one place you still want to travel to? I haven't done a lot of the European countries. I have been to Italy, but I haven't really explored Italy. The Greek islands, Croatia, all of that would be great. What place do you really want to go back to? The south of France, please. Which would you prefer? Going out to the movies, outdoor activity like hiking or putt-putt golf, video games and chill, board game night, or alone time with a book? All right, let's rate them. Video games and chill, alone time with a book, board games at night, going out to the movies, outdoor activity. There are all the questions for my Q&A. I will be doing another one of these. I'm gonna guess every quarter because it takes me 2 months after questions to do it. So if I put out for questions now, then you can expect another video in June. Cool. Obviously, I would love you guys to consider joining up to the Patreon. We are doing a bunch of stuff there, including chats where the squad and I will dedicate an hour to having like a chat session on our Discord. That Discord's a lot of fun if you guys want to hang out with the really cool peeps of our BB there. And we also been playing Jackbox games together once a month as well. And the last one was hilarious. So get involved with that too. I apologize for sounding a little stuffy. I've been sick the last week. My cough's still here and my nose is still running. And guess what I did today? I pulled my butt walking my dog. I was just walking and it was all of a sudden, and just, what's going on, girl? I'm falling apart. But I'm going to be sending out those parcels and packages for the $15.80 tier for Patreon today. So if you're watching this and you're in that, keep your eyes peeled on the mailbox. Anyway guys, that's it for this Q&A on my channel, Geek Bomb. I'm Wood Garrett. This is Zelda. we'll catch you next time. Excuse me? That's very interesting. Imagine if you were big, Zelda. What would you feel like? Would that be cool if I was able to ride on your back like you were a horse? What? Is that a yes?